My name's Tim Fite. I'm a musician and an artist. I grew up in the woods, about an hour and a half outside New York City, right on the border of New Jersey and Pennsylvania. I've been doing this stuff for a long time, trying to make as much of a mess as I can, you know, both musically and visually.
I got a day job, a night job, a high job, a low job. I even got a show job. I got all kinds of jobs.
I started making art as a kid. I've always been drawing. It was always just it's a part of every day. It's like brushing your teeth, you know. Did you draw your picture today? Yes, I did, okay. You know, I did potato prints and fish prints and all those funny prints that you do when you're a little kid. I did those when I was tiny. I love that shit, like when you have a fish and you roll ink on a fish and then you slap a piece of paper down on it. It was real fun. Growing up in the woods was a crazy experience because where I grew up as a child, you had more freedom than you could possibly ask for. You could go as far as you wanted. There was no boundaries at all. So you know, I can remember being 5 years old and I could just walk as far as I wanted and get lost. And I think that idea that you could get lost, but it was still sort of safe was a magical thing as a kid. The potential for having fun was limitless. At the same time though, my parents were constantly bringing my brother and I into the city and taking us to art museums. So I had this wild juxtaposition of extremely rural, you know, guns and trees and pickup trucks, and then really, really cultured and urban museums and openings and oil paints. And those two things kind of crashing together, I think, you know, was a little confusing, but in a magical way. I went to the state school in New Jersey. I went to Rutgers and studied printmaking and Pan-African Studies. So I had an academic major and an artistic major. And those were both great, but I really think like the majority of my artistic learning, or like my learning for what I'm doing in my real life, really happened outside of that sphere. Like it was, you know, in going on tour, it was in being in a band that didn't work out, or in, you know, painting a million pictures that I can later just dump in the garbage can and paint more and do more, you know. So I think the best education I could get is just the education of time, you know. A lot of people find it a little too repetitive. I like it because it's kind of like a meditation for me. Everything has a rhythm, and when you're printing, it goes ka-choom, patang, click, ka-choom, patang, click, ka-choom, patang, click, and once you get in a groove, like you hear that again and again, and kind of lulls you into happy space. You know, I lead two lives, right? Like I do this very pop culture thing as a musician, and I make songs that are catchy with the chorus in the middle. But when I'm not doing that, I'm an old man. I just want to listen to news radio and turn it up a little too loud and find out what's going on in the world. Probably the most important lesson I learned as a kid was don't pet dogs in the junkyard. You know, that was the most important one. I haven't pet one since, because those dogs, they bite you. I feel like there's so many important lessons. You know, that if you pay attention to your life for 2 seconds, you could learn a million things. So I just get bombarded with those all the time. The next big thing for me is making more pictures and just really digging deep, and getting crazy visual and thinking big, you know, big paper. And at the same time that I'm working on big paper, I'm gonna be, you know, making rap songs with my friend Christopher Powell from the band Man Man. We've got this little thing going called Grants, and it's gallery hip hop for the foundation generation, and whew, you can't beat it. Grants all day.